They're gonna catch my checklist. That's a bad bet.
Welcome back to Never Fade, the NFT podcast. I'm your host, FaXx. Thanks for joining us. And as always, I'm joined by Goodmontheth. What's up, Good?
What's Gucci? Who is Gucci, dog?
Yo, the space is kind of getting lit up and wild. Like, I don't know, is meme coin season over? We got lawsuits in the pipeline. We got the SEC coming at Binance and now Coinbase. I mean, what's going on? What's your takes on this, Good?
The SEC's Twitter's into memes, like pulling out, outrageous quotes from inside lawsuits and putting them on their digital assets and banging it from a government-verified Twitter. What is this simulation?
Dude, the SEC Twitter account is a meme, bro. Did they pull in like a tweet quote from somebody on the Binance team saying some ridiculous statement, and that's part of their case they're bringing forward? Or what are we seeing out here?
Yeah, dude. I feel like if we put that out for the Never Fade podcast, if we put a quote out like that, people would be like, you guys are engagement farming. You know what I mean? Like, this is the SEC just straight up like engagement farming. Crazy.
The SEC is engagement farming. And like, what's wild is the way that the crypto markets are responding to this. Like, obviously, like Monday, like SEC takes suit against Binance, like crypto markets bleed. Like Tuesday, they take a suit against Coinbase. Like, the markets kind of react. And then like Tuesday afternoon, it's like, what else is new? I mean, when I hear about lawsuits, regulatory actions like this, to me, it just sounds like a long time. Like, my take on this is that with the presidential election ahead, this kind of like, position of regulating crypto is a very unpopular one. And I don't think anybody is going to necessarily be wanting to like really lean into like regulating while they're trying to campaign. So I kind of had this gut feeling that we're looking at months and months of little to no clarity to continue, and like some posturing from the SEC. And really what I think is happening is I think that they're at a position where they're realizing like they need to get more information. And I think this is all big. It is engagement farming. It's information farming, I think, is what's happening. Is like, let's get into those books. Let's subpoena some records and let us get our arms around what's happening here. But they did call out some specific tokens, like Solana is a big one. Matic. I mean, are these tokens securities?
I mean, I'm not going to comment on that at all, but I think that, as of Sunday, I actually thought about texting you on Sunday. I was like, dude, I think we might get a little bit more political than we're wanting to get on the pod going through the summer. Like, that was what I was going to hit you with on Sunday. And then, Monday lawsuit, Tuesday lawsuit. I think that there are a lot of different things going on right now. We have a political race that's going on. And I know everyone kind of thought the 2020 political race was going to be the one to rule them all. But I think that was just a warm up to this one, because there are old school and new school thoughts kind of interwoven here on who should take over the administration. And like, administration is getting a lot of blame for the things that are going on, but what's going on in the macro world is wild. Like, if you look at macro takes, people who have macro takes, they are spraying a buckshot at what's happening in the macro market. And every single person who has a very cohesive and broad sweeping take is like hitting on maybe 2 out of 10 things right. Like, across the board, things are wild. Like, I've been tuning in a lot to kind of how new money is thinking of macro, and old money, how old money's thinking about macro. And like, old money has a perspective that like the US is the reserve currency. It will always be on top, and this will always play its way out. And then new money, macro takes, is like, we're going to get a decoupling from the US dollar because US is pinched in a place where printer goes up and other sovereign currencies, specifically China and Russia's relationship, as well as crypto macro markets, have enough to be able to decouple from that reserve. And I think it's very interesting. And I think it puts us in a position where crypto is specifically under a spotlight, but in two different formats. One format is regulatory, and how should the US look at and accept crypto? And then the other spotlight is the actual utility of crypto and it being a saving asset, an asset for people to save their wealth in, that's actually going on and happening right now. Does that make sense? Like, there's the US regulatory, how should the US look at it? But there's this globalization effects in place already within these crypto markets that are actively using it.
Yeah. And you know, and I want to call out that, like, I think that there's been a lot of memes going around about Gary Gensler. There was even like a Gensler token. And he's really been in the spotlight ever since FTX imploded or unwinded or whatever you want to call it there, rugged. But we got to remember that, like, Gary is coming from a place of teaching about crypto in schools in MIT. He understands crypto from a place of, like, understanding there's utilities. There's a lot of different ways that crypto is being used. And I think in general probably is like pro crypto. Like, I mean, who would spend the time to become an educator about blockchain, unless they have a passion for it? So I believe that Gary Gensler is passionate about crypto. And it just so happens that, like, the position that he's in, it requires him to be a regulatory force against the blockchain. Do you have a take on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna plus one that, because I think that something that kind of made me upset was when Gensler was on the stand and Congress was pressing him about Ethereum, trying to make it a security. And Gary was actually trying to, like, get 2 sentences out of his mouth to explain that it's a very dangerous statement to call Ethereum a security or not on a blanket statement. And what he was trying to get to was that there's 1,000 ERC20 coins that are on the back of Ethereum. And he couldn't even get that statement out. You had everyone in Congress sitting up in their podium seating, just cutting him off and trying to get a yes/no answer. And and Congress was like, "It's a yes/no answer, Gary. It's a yes/no answer." Whatever they actually refer to him, Your Honor. It's not Your Honor. Sorry, I'm sounding so stupid. I don't know the policy here. But it's like they were trying to get a yes/no answer out of him, and he was actually trying to educate. He actually, like, I was like, let him speak. Like, let him educate you on the fact that Ethereum has 1 million tokens, that are not the Ethereum token that everyone knows. And I did not like how crypto Twitter was trolling Gary in that case.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job by saying, basically, like, not answering the question. And in these lawsuits, Bitcoin and Ethereum are not named. And I think that the kind of underlying truth here is that they know that there is a big economic value to aligning with blockchain, aligning with those macro market coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But there's also threats, and it becomes like a matter of, fiscal and homeland security to some degree. And so I think these are discovery missions. And for me personally, not financial advice, like, I wasn't shook by these lawsuits. Like, I don't know why. I can't explain it. Were you shook?
I bought more.
You bought the dip good?
No, I wasn't shook at all. I mean, January, when Yellen sent the notice out about, either the debt needed to be increased or spending needed to be cut, I knew it was going to come down to FUD in 6 months. Everyone's going to run around and talk about the debt ceiling. I knew inevitably that was going to cause printer go back on conversation, which it did. And then now on cue, what do we got? A lawsuit for Binance, the biggest crypto exchange. A lawsuit for Coinbase, a US-based public company where the United States has offloaded the crypto that they've had in the past.
Yeah.
All it is just a tool in their tool belt to throw out right now. And it's supposed to scare people. It's supposed to bring some fear. And that's what it is. I don't want to get too tangential here, but alcohol was unleashed on the population, got out of control by regulation standards. It became illegal. Then it got legal again. Gold was illegal and threatening, and then it became legal again. The Bitcoin ticker's already on MarketWatch. It's already up there on the daily news that a lot of boomers watch. Like, crypto is not going away. The applications are going to grow. The young is going to get wealthy. Like, I spent my 20s during the 2010s, and us youth got a lot of money a lot quicker than our previous generation did during that time. During a bull run, being in tech and FAFOing. And the youth right now is focused on blockchain. And they're going to absolutely collect on everyone's bags. There's no doubt about it. Like, you start companies in crypto, you start building on the blockchain, you start making these connections, and you're in your 20s, you're going to come up on bags. And the more and more people stay away from it, the more and more people don't want to pay attention to it, the more and more they're going to be left and forgotten. Like, you talk about T-bills sitting at like 6 and 7% and people salivating over the opportunity at that. Dude, 20-year-olds won't even get out of bed for anything less than 60%. 20-year-olds.
Yeah, I know. The next generation is built a bit different here. And so, we're tailing them on some regards on some of this crazy stuff like Bitcoin ordinals and like whatever the fuck else, like technological advancements that are catching hype. To be honest, I think I'm at a place where I have a lot of belief in crypto. I love NFTs. I love trading them. I love the community aspects. And the rest of it, I'm going to tail the Zoomers right into those bags, dude. I'm not afraid to say it. So we talked about the SEC as an engagement farmer, but today we're bringing on the main engagement farmer on Twitter that we've all come to love or hate, but either way, certainly not avoid. And that's Alex Schillen-Villen. I've been in a number of his spaces. Personally, I find it to be entertaining, highly entertaining. Maybe I have a sixth sense of humor. I don't know. But I think there's a lot of people that feel that way. It's kind of interesting to watch. So I've watched him grow in NFT Twitter up over 100,000 followers, and hosting just like spaces after spaces after spaces. Like at one point I was like, couldn't believe it. Like it was like, 2 months straight that I watched this guy do 4 spaces a day. And I'm thinking like, is this for real? Is this guy for real? And so he is a polarizing figure to some degree in a space. Like, there's people who literally are fans of him, followers, network, community that follow him. And then there's other people that just don't. He doesn't jive with them. They don't subscribe. And somewhere in there is the truth, like, who is this guy? And I feel like as a platform in Web3 and the NFT space, the best thing that we could do here at Never Fade is bring this guy into the podcast, hear what he has to say, get some takes, understand better the truth about Shill and Villain. And that's the game plan today. Are you down with that, Good?
Yeah, man, I'm down with it. I mean, I think that anybody who has a platform and has earned a platform has some reality tied to them. You know what I mean? Like, if you have started a platform and you have people who constantly tune into your platform, it need to be, understood that it deserves its legs. There are a lot of people that just want to cut the legs out from this guy because they don't like his style. Style is different. You'll hear it on this pod. I'm sure he's gonna come in like an absolute bat out of hell. I don't expect him to be calm. I don't expect him to be normal. Like, sorry, Shill and Villain. Like, I don't expect you to be a normal dude. I don't know what we're really getting ourselves into, but I do expect it to be unique, and I expect it to be raw. And I would say, if you tune in to this pod to really get a lot of our takes out of this pod, myself or FaXx, we're probably not going to get a lot in on this show. I think you probably heard all the talking from us already at this point. Am I off base there?
No, we'll see. I mean, he's a little hard to keep up with. You know what I'm saying? Like, once he gets going, full steam ahead, he's a buzzsaw, and I think look, I've seen certain values about Alex that lead me to believe that he really cares about the people who give him time and support. I've learned through listening to him, watching him, and talking to him that he means well, and that he doesn't like to see people around him get scammed and rugged. And I think that that's something that's very prevalent surrounding NFTs and crypto. And it kind of seems like he's kind of like been on a mission to do things different. So let's learn more about this. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Shill and Villain now.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on. I've always been a big fan of what you do, so excited to finally be on your podcast. I know you are booked. I had to check your Calendly. I was like, oh my God, one of these guys use Calendly. Like, please do just a Twitter DM, a Discord DM. We can get things rolling faster. But no, he's got all the semantics. Got to sign in my Google. I'm looking at his calendar. I don't know who the fuck you're interviewing. It can't be no one more interesting than me. Like, you got to move me to the front of the line. But I'm finally here. I'm excited. I've been a big fan. So yeah, I'm finally happy to be on your podcast.
Yeah, it's all FOMO and PSYOP, we make the calendar look like, oh shit, you better grab that spot, otherwise somebody else is, you're going to be blocked out. So I'm happy to see that it's working out. Dude, I know you're a busy guy, and look, I'm happy to have you on here, and really what I want to get down to today is the truth about Shill and Villain. So when we get guests on here, usually we like to understand how they got into Web3 and blockchain and why. So give us a little background, Alex, on how you got involved in the blockchain and basically how did it become your life?
Okay, first of all, I want to point out, if you're doing the truth about someone, the most important thing is for them not to be there. How did I get involved in crypto? In 2017, I downloaded an app, Coinbase app, because I saw Bitcoin. I was doing stocks, not heavy trading, just I was working at a university, it's a D2 university as an IT technician, and on the side.
Hey, that's where the best talent comes out of, by the way. Little IT technician spots. I know what you're up to. You're up to a little bit of different stuff. So I want to hear the backside of this story too. Make sure you cover it.
Oh, dude, I did nothing there. Absolutely nothing. So with doing nothing came lots of free time, and so I sat on stock twits all day long, dude, all day long. Like my favorite stock was Tesla, and it was like going back and forth with the bulls, dude. They're fucking bananas. It's all died down since because like, but at the time, just doing option trading, I was never good at it, right? I thought I was good. Like, I'd make a couple grand here and there. I'm like, dude, I'm quitting this fucking job forever. I'm going to say, fuck you. You make like 5 grand in like 5 minutes. You're like, fuck this place. Then you lose 10 grand in 10 minutes. You're like, God damn it, I'm working here forever. But then Bitcoin was like, it went up, and I was like, okay. And then it went up again, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then it went up again. I'm like, holy fucking shit, this thing's never stopping. And so immediately priced out of Bitcoin. I'm like, God damn it. And so I downloaded this Coinbase app. No clue what the fuck Bitcoin is. Well, I guess no, that's not true. I knew what Bitcoin was way back, and yeah, I think everyone kind of knew. Like, we all saw it, but we never really saw it until like 2017 when it like really ripped. And so everyone sees it really rip, and I'm like, fuck it, dude. Let me get involved and download the Coinbase app. And they had 3 different coins: Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. I was like, I'm not buying these expensive ass coins. Let's start with this like cheaper coin because I can own more of these cheaper coins. So buy the cheaper coin, like Litecoin, and then it like rips up from like, I think I put in like 5K, and then like 6X is like 30K, and then I'm like, holy fuck. And then I'm like, I need to get more speculative. Like, these 3 coins, they're not really that volatile. I'm starting seeing all these shit coins all over the place. And so then I go down this venture of like chasing all these fucking shit coins. I remember like one of them was like Tron, and dude, when I hit Tron, it was like a 5K to 50K. And keep in mind, dude, like, this is college technician, dude, like making like 50K a year. So I made my salary in like a day. And dude, I just remember walking around campus, like my balls, like I checked my balls, and they were dragging on the ground. Like, at the end of the day, dude, like no one could tell me shit. Dude, I was swinging my arms back and forth. What the fuck are you looking at? I just made 50K in a day, dude.
Wait till I get my money right, then you can't tell me nothing, right?
Yeah, dude. I remember just like, and dude, I was going to like, and I was like, I need to get more speculative. And so like, then I'm like, these were like when I'm trading on like Binance and like KuCoin, and I was like, I need to get these coins before they get to these locations, because that's like normally marking the top. When they get in here, like I'm normally getting dumped on like Binance and KuCoin. And so like I started going down this venture of chasing like these smaller and smaller centralized exchanges. Like one of my favorite was like Cryptopia.nz. Dude, that one's really funny because they had like a chat box, and I was pumping and dumping in the chat box. I remember saying like, yo, this token's the next fucking Bitcoin, da, 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 and like pumping, exiting. Like, oh.
Cryptopia. I remember Cryptopia, dude. Thing is like, I think it's out of commission now.
Yeah, I got fucking rugged with my tokens on that marketplace. Whatever. I got rugged in like several different fashions. And like my token, like everything went to zero fast as fuck, dude. Like 2018, like when dude, I wasn't getting away out, dude. And I didn't pull out nothing because I was like, I'm not doing taxes on shit. I'm just gonna keep on like trying to flip this around. Everything went to zero, like literally everything. My last holding was like, it was called Neo. It was supposed to be like Ethereum's China's version of Ethereum or something, and then I just staked it up in a wallet and forgot about it for like several years. Several years later, fast forward, my friend keeps telling me about NFTs. I'm like, dude, get the fuck away from me. I'm done with crypto. It's a fucking scam. Yeah, I left 2018 hating cryptos. 2000, like, was it 21? I think it's 2021. Like September, October. My friend doesn't shut the fuck up about these fucking NFTs. And he's like telling me about like wax NFTs, like, yeah, he's like, and he shows me, he's like turned $0. I still to this day don't know how, until like 50K. He's like, how the fuck did you do that? But he's like he's not a better trader than me. Fuck that shit. And so I eventually capitulate because BitBoy is like, I'm doing an NFT, but not really. He wasn't really him. It was his friend DZ. I don't know if you guys familiar with him. He's like a YouTuber as well, but he was bigger in the NFT side of things. So BitBoy was helping promote it. I was like, all right, fuck it, dude. I'll try it.
And when we say DZ, we're talking about D's. Is that right?
Is it D's the YouTuber? No. I think you're talking about D's the Twitter.
Different. Okay.
DZ. He's like a Cardano. Dude, he's a Cardano MFer with a fucking DZ.eth. He works. He's like BitBoy's right hand man.
Yeah, for people who don't know, BitBoy Crypto, Ben Armstrong is a very influential YouTuber covering, crypto, covering small market cap coins. And it sounds like, Alex, you followed his programming, or somebody did, your friend did, must have, right? To put you onto this NFT he was dropping.
Yeah, and I was like, fine, it's like a couple $100. I'll give it a go. And it was funny. He like, you had to own certain tokens to get whitelist for it, and it was at the time, like whitelist meta was huge, and I was like, okay, let me buy some of these tokens, get whitelisted, and I minted like I don't forget how many I minted, but it's a good bit, and it was funny because the mint was all fucked up. He had rarity all fucked up. Like the first people that minted had like the ultra rares, and I minted like all ultra rares, and like I remember turning like $500 into like 30K overnight, and I was like, oh, I was hooked after that, dude. It was like the biggest dopamine hit. I was like, holy fuck, dude, here we go. I'm back in it, boys. And so then like I did a whole bunch of like Ethereum NFTs, like shit Ethereum trading. I never hit a fucking Ethereum blue chip, dude. I think I was like the Cyberkongs, the Bases, like I was a big fan of the Cyberkongs. So I was like, holy shit, these guys are making like $300,000 APY on their like $300,000 off these fucking banana coins. And I was like, this is bullshit, dude. And so I remember doing like a whole bunch of these like shit coin making, staking, trying to find the next Cyberkong. It never came, by the way. There was never another Cyberkongs, but in my mind, I was gonna find it. And so like there was this one I got really into called Wicked 8 Bone Club, and you earn their Wicked coin. And I remember owning like 3 or 4 of these and like putting out a tweet saying like, oh, if you hold 4 of these, you're actually making more than minimum wage, like based off the staking mechanics. And I was like, dude, I was totally buying into this, that you could hold internet pictures and stake it and earn internet coins, magic internet money, and make more than people that are flipping hamburgers at McDonald's off of like and they had me believing it.
That's great context. It sounds like you flip-flopped around and probably got wrecked on some of these like Ethereum tokens, but at some point you landed in Solana. When did you get into the Solana ecosystem?
Okay, so like I was a mint maxi. Like secondary trading was not me, but I knew how to mint and print.
And so, Alex, we're talking just time frame wise. If you're a mint maxi, we're talking like summer of 21. We're talking Jogue summer 21. That was when you were mint maxing. Is that right?
Yeah, I can't remember if I got in 2020. Like when did, dude? The years are blurred, dude. It all moves so fast.
21 was when Bake came out. End of April. When Cyberkongs were just cashing bananas, it was June of 21.
So yeah, so I came in a little bit after. I missed the Cyberkong shit. So June, August. Yeah, so like around like September 21 is when I came in. And like there were still a ton of Ethereum mints, but eventually like let's say there was like 10 Ethereum mints a day, there was like 1 Solana when I first entered. And then it dropped down like 9 Ethereum mints a day, and then 2 Solana, then 8, then 3, and then it just slowly inverse, like where there was more Solana mints than Ethereum mints. And that's when I like fully transitioned, like Solana mint, Solana mint, Solana mint, Solana mint, Solana mint. And the other thing I liked about Solana, dude, was I think like the last time I was like, yo, fuck Ethereum, was like I think it was called like the Sevens official. It was like the highest gas war at the time, and I was like, I'm never doing this shit. And like I still tried to get into some, like Doodles was another like big one I tried to get into, but it was like 1 Ethereum in gas per transaction. It was like a point like 2 ETH mint, and I was like, dude, I was like at 0.8 ETH, and I'm like, yo, what in the fuck in gas? Like this is bullshit. But I hated Ethereum at the time because of how much gas was. Like and profit margins, and it was just like the principle of it all. I'm like, dude, I'm buying this internet picture for like $500, and I'm gonna pay like $4,000 to transact a 500. Dude, it already sounded like I had to question my whole like logic of what the fuck I'm doing at this point in time with my life. Like it just made no sense.
Yeah, so that kind of drove you to Solana because you didn't have to deal with the gas fees, which is, that is like one of the big use cases for Solana, is you don't have those transaction fees, and suddenly all the gas fees on Ethereum, because in 21 there was a point when Ethereum gas fees got completely out of control. And that really kicked up like the discussions around L2s and then, of course, around Solana. And so you find yourself over on the Solana blockchain, minting and printing. And somewhere along the line, you end up, I suppose, minting what is now become the famous Shillin villain lizard, which is like this from this reptilian renegade collection. So, Alex, you've done close to 1,000 spaces, thousands of people tuning into these spaces. And one thing that you kind of like continuously go back to is you talk about this $30 PFP. I'm just a $30 PFP. I'm just a $30 PFP. And this is this reptilian renegade PFP. So like, I want to dig into this. So like, why do you use that PFP as your PFP on crypto Twitter, Alex?
All these projects at the time are like I'm blowing up, right? Social media is going through the fucking roof. Everyone's loving what I'm doing. Hosting spaces. And the reason why I'm hosting spaces is I joined, well, first of all, this is how like I came really viral. Well, first, like I was just sending out alpha calls, very blatant alpha calls from my fucking Twitter. Like there's only like 1,000 people following me, but I was sending like links. I'm like, yo, go to this link right now and mint this fucking project. Sending link. Like, and I don't care like if it was like, I didn't get anyone drained, dude. Everyone fucking printed. When I sent a link, it was free money. I want all my people that are following me make free money. And then I was like a super, super alpha account. Like everyone knew. Like every time you think the dumbass lists, like, oh, these accounts are good. Like every single list, even though I only had 1,000 follow, like major influencers, like Alex is like the most fucking alpha person on the fucking app. Alex. And this was like a small ass account. So one of these influencer assholes, whatever, they're not assholes, just whatever. It's just more of the same, really. They're like, we're going to do an auction. And I was like, looking at it, I'm like, this is a fucking scam. This is a fucking scam. And I said, I don't support this. This is like a fucking scam. Whatever. And like, it was ran by the biggest Solana influencer at the time. And like, I'm pushing back on it. And he freaks the fuck out. And I'm like, dude, like, dude, he immediately comments on it and like, you need to come to a space or some shit. And I'm like, dude, the fuck I am. Like, I don't do spaces. Like, I've never done spaces. I'm not joining a fucking space. I said, no, that's okay. I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to yours. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but you can go fuck off. And like, yo, first of all, I'm thinking to myself, I'm a tiny ass account. Like, all I come on here is to shill my shit. Shill and Villain was made to shill shit. Like, that was it. Like, shill my fucking bags all over the place. That's what it was. I was shilling like a villain, not this some fucking villain arc that people are projecting onto me. It was because I was shilling like a villain.
And people don't like it when you call their projects rugs. I know from experience. They don't like that at all.
Anyways, he's like freaking the fuck out, dude. Like, this is the biggest I'm like, dude, why is the biggest influencer on Solana concerned about me, little old Alex? Well, little old Alex had like a ton of influence, even with just like 1,000 people, because like how alpha he was. And as soon as Alex said like that's dog shit, all of a sudden like, oh, it's maybe dog shit, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we need to get on a Discord call. So I'm doing like hours and hours of calls with like the biggest influencer on Solana, and he's telling me how I shouldn't be saying this and how I'm not entitled to say this, and like, I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, in my head. This is before I really like blew up on people, but then I just like, so I'm like trying to be cordial, cool, calm, and collective. I'm like, okay, like, I'm not going to delete anything. I am entitled to my opinion. It is Twitter. It's just my opinion, man. And dude, it doesn't matter what I say. People are going to still buy this project. You're the biggest influencer on Solana. Like, it's going to be fine. Like, I'm going to leave my opinion out. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I just don't want people that follow me to support this idea. That's all. And that's my opinion. And they're entitled to support it either way. They're entitled to their own opinion. But for you to try to like shut me up, dude, that's just not going to work. Like, I'm not going to stop. But yeah, I understand. Like, I appreciate you like reaching out and like trying to settle it, but I'm never going to delete it. And it is what it is. And he was like, losing his shit, dude, like losing his ever loving mind over this fucking tweet that I put out. And so then he hosts his own space and he brings on all the biggest influencers, and they're all like, yeah, he shouldn't be saying this shit. Yeah. Like, there's 10 big ass Solana influencers now pinning my tweet to the top of the fucking space, and they're all going over it and like how Alex is fucking wrong. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? And like, people are tagging me, you need to come to this space. You need to come to this space. I'm like, for fucking what, dude? It's my fucking goddamn opinion. Like, I don't need to come out and defend my goddamn opinion. I don't need to come to your space, dude. I end up going to the space. And it's 10 on 1. It feels like a bunch of fucking hyenas. And I come in there like a fucking alpha dog, like a fucking lion, surrounded by 10 fucking Solana hyenas. They're all nipping at me. You can't say that, Alex. You can't say it's a scam. Like, and so the most fucking dude, his name's Titan. Have you ever heard of Titan XBT?
No.
Oh, dude, he's going on a tangent about how $4,000 isn't a lot of fucking money. They're entitled for $4,000 in NFT. I have no fucking opinion in the matter. And I'm just thinking to myself, dude, I have an opinion and I'm entitled to it. So I get up on the space and we have, it shows here on the space, Ice Knife, the other person's Alpha Dog, OX Kirk, Titan, Zach, like all the biggest Solana influencers at the time. And Alex is like, my name is Alexander42 with a little green skeleton that wasn't even a real fucking NFT at the time. And I'm just like, 1,000 followers and all the biggest influencers are all teaming up on me. And I'm just like, all right, this is interesting. This is my first space ever. First space I've ever done, and I'm getting bullied by all 10 influencers on Solana.
Hours to make. Like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, honestly, 50 SOL, that's not even $5,000. The minimum DAO payment I've ever paid into is fucking $10,000. Like, you're like, bruh, that's not even $5,000. Like, what, $4,000? Who gives a fuck about $4,000? Like, how? Like, these are people wanting to raise their own money because they can.
I should just say, okay, it's fine because they want to charge 50 SOL. It's fine, bro. I have the right to voice my own opinion. He's mad that I tweeted it out. He's mad. Hey, yo, let me finish my sentence. He's mad that I tweeted it out. Aren't you a slow runner anyway, Titan? Why are you even talking? Get him out of here, bro. Anyways, I tweeted it out. He got mad. I'm here for him because he wants to know what the concerns are. I'm giving him my concern. If you don't want to hear my concern, take me off. Block me, bro.
But this is like really the dumbest conversation I've ever
had.
Bro, everybody settle down.
The dumbest conversation ever, bro. I literally tweeted out what I thought, and he wants me to come up here and I'm telling him what I think.
I wanted you to come up here. I was never mad about anything. There's never a point in time where I was mad about this.
Oh my God, $4,000!
Really
I can't believe I'm outraged. People are raising $4,000 to make a DAO. Oh my God!
Bro, Titan, you sound like a fucking bozo, kid.
Shut the fuck
up.
Alright, yo, chill.
I'm wasting my time to leave the space, bro. No one's forcing you to stay in the space. Leave it, bro. You don't have to hear me speak.
Chill. Everybody chill. I didn't want it to get like this. This is stupid.
Yeah, so you can hear them like trying to team up on me how it's okay for them to raise $4,000, and I'm like, dude, it's perfectly fine. The influencer came to me asking for my concerns, and that's why I came to your stupid ass space to begin with. Like, if you don't want to hear my fucking concerns, don't fucking invite me to the space. I'm not gonna agree with you raising $4,000 when I don't agree with you. Like, I'm gonna give you my concerns, and it got out of control. Like,
so what kind of response did you get from people who had tuned into that space and heard that?
Oh, they were like, holy fuck, this guy fucks. Like, he's fucking wrecking these influencers. Like, everyone's like, oh my God, who's this shilling villain? Dude, they put me on the map instantly. So their shitty behavior was just like, I was like, dude, it was so bad. Like, they were literally like a hyena's den, and like there was other people that were like started coming up after me. Like, I am so frustrated, dude. I started losing my fucking shit on that space, and I was like, I'm just gonna switch to listener. I'm done fucking I'm done fucking here. And so then dude, all the little hyena asses stayed up there as speaker. The little Solana influencers are all trying to raise $4,000 per NFT. They were bringing up people who had disagreed one by one and trying to pretend like they're fucking like, dude, it was ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
So, but this was the inception of Shillin' Villain, the Twitter Spaces host, because you went up there basically calling out influencer BS, and I think that a lot of people were probably shocked, but at the same time, they were refreshed by this take. Like, this guy's not going to take shit from people. And I think like that's kind of like from there you just like that becomes your signature.
Yeah. So when after that, I was like, the bar is low. Like this is the biggest influencers trying to direct the space off cliffs. They're literally walking people off fucking cliffs out here. I'm like, holy fuck. Like before, I didn't really listen to voice calls. I just kind of like read their text and like assumed like they were smarter than they had appeared. And then after that space, I realized, wait a second, these guys are fucking idiots. Like, I'll just go be more influential than them and use like what I think is better, like better the space, do better, whatever, good is bad is all fucking like weird as fuck, like what's good versus bad. But do I believe walking people off canyons is a good idea? No. But they loved it, dude. They loved watching their fucking followers fall off a cliff 1,000 miles high. And that's like bothers them. That they were losing influence to me because they were liquidating so much on their followers. And I just immediately scaled back on all financial advice at that point in time. I said, it's not worth it. Like, I could pump any fucking collection at the time. Like, I gained so much fucking influence so fucking fast. Like, within like that month or two, I went parabolic. And then by like the third, 4th month, like literally every single Solana collection like wanted me on their team. Like, every single one. And so I kept on saying no to a lot of people, like no, no thanks, no, no thanks. And then eventually like the reptiles, this is like full circle here. How do we get to the reptiles? This is how we got to the reptiles. They were launched by Hydra Launchpad. Hydra at the time had launched several blue chip Solana collections, like Ketson Crack was launched by them. They ran up like crazy. Trippin' Ape ran up like crazy. There was a thing called Sea Shanties, ran up like crazy. Everything they touched, dude, like was like more than 10xing every single time. Dowlies, what's some other? There's like another small one. It's like a Nizuki derivative, but didn't matter. If it said Hydra Launchpad's launching it, the marketing was unmatched. It wasn't even close. Like Magic Eden was about to get put out of business. For Launchpad wise, like everyone, like dude, this is when like Solana launches were going fucking crazy. Like they were raising more capital on Solana than Ethereum. Like they were raising like $10 million per NFT, and like Ethereum was at a meta where like Goblin Town was coming out. Like you could only raise funding through royalties on Ethereum. Like no one was giving initial capital off of mints. And so like Solana, then insert like Solana mint season. And at the time, Hydra was shitting on every single launch pad. And so my friend reaches out to me and they're like, hey, Alex, I want you to be an advisor. Like, this is a close friend. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, there's this founder I really like. And I was like, okay, what's the project? He shows me the art and I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, this is a blue chip. This is a blue chip, dude. Like, this is blue chip art. And then, all right, I'm like, let me check it out. So I'm talking to him and I'm like, okay, the founder seems like he has at least some type of lore here. It seems like it could be something. And I'm like, okay, cool. Immediately, like, I reach out to Hydra. I'm like, hey, Hydra, I think I got a blue chip. And they're like, what do you mean? And I show them the art and they're like, oh, fuck. I'm like, yeah, dude, this fucks. And they're like, okay, well, can we launch you guys? And I said, yeah, dude, like, let me talk to the owner. Owner's like, yeah, let's launch with Hydra. Like, if you recommend it, Alex, like, I'm down for that. I'm like, yeah, I highly recommend it. And I remember, like, once we announced the Hydra shit, dude, shit went fucking insane. Like, oh, shit, Hydra's launching another fucking collection. Oh, shit. And then at that point in time, I felt comfortable, like, becoming an advisor for the project. And I was like, okay, I'll take on an advisorship role. I'll be, like, as soon as I did that, I immediately made, like, a tweet saying, I'm now the new advisor for the reptiles. And at the time, every single Solana influencer hated my fucking guts, dude. Like, I was wrecking them. I'm like, yeah, here's this fucking asshole promoting another rug. Here's X, Y, and Z. I was like Zach XBT for Zach XBT was cool. But I was out here wrecking him. Like, he's taking undisclosed payments. Here's the wallet tracker, dude. I was like way early on wallet tracking. Like, oh, here's like the tweets with the timeline that says, hey, I'm bullish on this, but you can check his wallet, and he's selling right as he says he's bullish, dude. They fucking hated my fucking guts. Like, fuck this shilling villain. Like, and because I didn't do their shitty stuff, dude, like so keep in mind, like 2017, like when all that came ending, like let's say, I don't know how much I lost, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like instantly gone overnight. Dude, it put me like suicidal state, like for a whole month. It put me on a commission, dude. I literally like was still going to the university. So keep in mind, like balls dragging on the ground 1 month. Next month, dude, like becoming a vegetable for like a whole month, thinking to myself, fuck, man, I'm going to work for the rest of my life. I am going to sit here at this college and work for the rest of my life for these students. And that's just the way it's going to be, Alex. There's no way out of it. And so from that moment, like when I finally got out of that a month later, I told myself, like, money can never be in control of me. I can never let money control me. So I became very content not making large sums of money because I was like, I'm not going to let myself fall into that state again. Dude, that was like the worst state I've ever been in. So like I was okay with like not doing their fucking fuckery. Like all these fucking Solana influencers were doing so much fuckery, like hundreds of whitelists and just dumping on everyone like out the gates. But before the gates open, they're like, oh, I'm so bullish on this fucking collection. Meanwhile, they get 100 whitelists that no one is entitled to other than these influencers, and they dump it all over the place. And then, dude, of course I was getting those offers, like, and of course I said no to them, and that gave me power, dude. That gave me power over them because I'm like, I'm not going to do it, haha, in your face, but I am going to call your bitch ass out. And so Alex is chopping off the heads of these Solana influencers, like, yeah, fuck that Solana influencer off with his head. So then, like, people start, dude, everyone was like, influencers going higher and higher and higher. And then, boom, Alex is an advisor for the fucking reptiles. The crowd goes wild. And then people love the reptiles, dude. They kind of love it, right? So then all of a sudden, I announce it. And then I see like influencers coming out of the woodworks like, don't buy this fucking collection. Shilling Villain's a piece of shit. Every single influencer is like, boom, boom, throwing like major fucking hate my way. And then privately, they're DMing the founder like, hey, can I get 40 whitelists? Can I get 100 whitelists? Can I get? And he's showing me all these DMs and like, oh my God. All the people that are publicly shitting on me right now are asking for whitelists. And dude, that was like, I thought at the time, but when they signed me up for advisor, I told the owner, I was like, dude, I don't know if it's a great idea for you to bring me on, like, because everyone hates me. Every fucking influencer hates me. Like, I don't think it's a good idea for you to bring me on board, to be honest. Like, I don't mind privately advising you. I don't want any type of payment. I just want to learn. Like, I'm here to learn. I don't need your payment. Like, there's no need to pay me. And so he's like, no, I really want to pay you. And I said, the best thing you can do is pay me in equity, and I'll buy my equity. So I'll buy the NFTs. Like, just give me the opportunity to buy NFTs. So he gave me the opportunity to buy 40 NFTs. I bought 40 NFTs. I still hold them to this day. But go back to the influencer side of things. Every influencer is shitting on me like, yeah, don't buy this fucking project. Shilling Villain's advising for it. I'm like, oh my God.
So you're like the anti-influencer. So like, to the dismay of like these influencers whose game was basically to like pump and dump on their followers, you were gaining a following because you were calling these dudes out. And then come along this project where you're actually taking an advisory role, and these influencers are on one hand calling you out, and on the other hand DMing the founder for whitelist spots so that they can get in.
I mean, yeah, that's what happened.
So what happened to the lizards?
Yeah, so like influencers are like losing their shit that I'm an advisor, and I'm like, okay. So it actually slow mints, like doesn't like at the time everything's instantly minting out, like boom, like instant. So this one is like slowly mint. It's like a 1 sol mint, and then it comes out of the gates at like 1.3 sol. So it's like whatever. And I was like, okay, this is fun. Like we'll build off this. And then this is right after OK Bears. OK Bears ripped faces off. And then all of a sudden, like these ETH influencers didn't really know me start fucking with it. And then they buy like some. And then like it goes from like 1.3 to like 5 sol. I'm like, holy fuck. We're just 5x boys. And then more ETH influencers get involved. And it goes to like 10 sol. Like then the next day it went to like 20 sol. And then like all of a sudden, like these ETH influencers are hosting spaces. And like I already have a major Solana following at the time. And I'm like, well, fuck, dude. Like, I'll join your spaces. And so I'm like, at this point in time, sharing my vision, but like at the time I'm not the founder, I'm just an advisor, but everyone's looking at me as like I'm borderline the founder, because there was 5 advisors, but no one will ever know that. The other 4 no one ever heard of. They faded to irrelevancy. They were just there.
So you're the face of the project at this point. Now it's popping off. A lot of people are talking about it. They're holding spaces about it, and Shill and Villain is essentially become the face.
Yeah. So it goes from like $100 to $2,000 in the course of like 3 days. The volumes like in the top 10 volume for all NFTs, like Solana, Ethereum, it made like the front page of OpenSea. And then like the next day it goes to like 30 fucking Solana. I'm like, holy fucking shit. And so, dude, I am running on that timeline at this point in time, like parading every single fucking instrument I can find. I am playing that bitch, the trumpets, the fucking drums, the trombone, the cymbals. I was hitting them all, like letting everyone know, I just 30x a fucking project. Go fuck yourselves, because it is hard to do that, dude. Very few projects ever 30 fucking x. So it's like trading in the top 5 collection on OpenSea. Alex has the whole fucking band marching. We're hosting spaces, like 500 fucking people, and spaces weren't big at the time, but this shit was big. And then, dude, the next day, like day 4, it hits fucking 40 fucking Solana. I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude. My heart is racing. At this point in time, I turned $4,000 into what's 40 times 160,000.
So at one point in time, those 40 lizards were worth $160,000.
Immediately roll out staking, immediately rolling out like second gen stuff. Like then it boom, like the fucking 45 Sol. I was like, holy fucking shit. It's at 45 Sol. We host a space, 800 people are in there. Magic Eden comes up. Like, what the fuck is going on here, Alex? I was like, yo, either get in or get the fuck out. Like, I'm like, at that point, you could not turn down the fucking hype. I was like, holy, and then it hit like #1 traded NFT on all blockchains. It was the #1 fucking on Solana, Ethereum, like on OpenSea. They were the #1 fucking traded NFT. It was at 45x. So every $100 you put in, you could have pulled out 4,500, and that was like base floor. Like these rare ones were trading like over 100 Solana. Like Solana is trading at like $100 at the time. So like from 100 to 4,500 in like the course of a week. And everyone's losing their fucking minds. Like, what the fuck? And then like a day goes by. So we completely rolled out like a 1-year roadmap in like 3 days. It felt like, or 4 days. Like staking, second gens, tokens. They all got rolled out in the course of the first fucking week. Like, dude, like remove your NFT now if you want the snapshot. So like that's what like helped a lot of this, was like removing NFTs, like second gens coming. So a lot of all that played into this, like to get to that 45 marker. And then like, so I was still like, obviously the founders are like, fuck you state to Hydra. They're like, hey, we need to do this. He's like, no, go fuck yourself, privately. Like, no, he never really got popular, right? Everyone, his name was Fiopi, but no one remembers him. They all were it, because he didn't really have the influence that he had at the time. It was just like the stars had aligned for the Alex era. But then like the next day, like all like the entire roadmap got rolled out. I was like, what the fuck? How do we do this in a week? And then to the next day it went to like 35. Then the next day it went to 30. And I was like, oh fuck. Like I could feel like the downtrend was coming and there was nothing stopping it. Like we don't have another update coming. And then like the founder pretty much goes radio silent. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Then the next day, dude, OpenSea DCMAs the fucking collection. I'm like, what the fuck just happened here? Like 10 p.m. that night, it gets removed, and I'm like getting blown up. Like, Alex, why did it fucking get removed? Like, I'm like, I had no fucking idea. I have zero idea. Like, and then boom, it goes down like 20. So I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, it feels good on the way up. On the way down, it's fucking terrifying, right?
Oh, yeah. And then people are like tagging me like, Alex, you fucking piece of shit. I'm like, God damn it, I'm sorry, guys. And like, I'm just like, fuck, man. And then, I remember like the like when it went really down, when it got removed from OpenSea for DCMA. And it's like asking OpenSea, what the fuck? And then I like go look at the picture. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this? It's not even like a real fucking picture. I still to this day don't know if like it was like a real DCMA or if someone like I still like do not know exactly what happened that night. But then the next morning I wake up and Magic Eden's like, Alex, why are you trying to get the reptiles removed from Magic Eden? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, Hydra's contacting us saying to remove the reptiles. I'm like, for what? And then like, we don't know, but we're not doing it. We're not removing it. And I was like, dude, I have no idea. It's probably the Balloonsville rugger. Like, fuck if I know. They haven't talked to me. And they're like, huh. And I'm like, huh. All right. I'll go like get in contact with Hydra. I'm like, yo, Hydra, what the fuck's going on? This is like 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm like just barely waking up, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Why we are just got removed from Open Sea last night, and then this morning, Magic Eden trying to remove us. I'm like, is it DCMA? Like, what's going on, Hydra? So no contact from Hydra, and then I message the founder, and then I call him, like ding ding on Discord, and then he's like in the shower. I'm like, I'll never forget it. He's like taking a fucking bath. I'm like, and then like meanwhile everything's blowing up. Like he seemed like calm, cool, and collective. I'm like, dude, what are you fucking doing? Like everything's blowing up over here. Like they're getting us removed. Like Magic Eden's getting us removed. And he's like, they didn't tell you? I'm like, who didn't tell me? Like Hydra. And he's like, Hydra didn't tell you? I was like, no. What? He's like, I'm rugging the project. And I was like, what do you mean you're rugging the project? He's like, yeah, I'm the Balloonsville rugger. I was like, oh. Dude, my heart sank. Obviously, oh fuck, dude. He's like, yeah, dude, like it's fine. You can take over the project. And I said, I don't want to fucking take over this project. Like, that's not why I signed up for this. Like, I signed up so I could just learn about fucking the back scenes. Like, I never wanted to be the founder of this shit. He's like, it's fine, dude. You take over it. You'll be the next Frank to Gods. And I was like, dude, I want no fucking foundership of this bullshit. Like, I don't mind advising, like, but as far as founder, he's like, Alex, listen, I'm gonna continue to rug people. You know, there's really, you just collect the mint funds and you rug people. It's really that simple. You don't continue projects. Like, that's what stupid people do. And I'm like, oh my God. So he was so fucking cocky, dude. So I think what happened was Hydra got it delisted, and this is me speculating and pontificating because, like I said, I don't know to this day. Hydra got it delisted from OpenSea, and then Hydra was trying to get it listed from Magic Eden, delisted, so they could stop all trade volume. So when the announcement came out that it was rugging, they could do something about it. I think that's why they were trying to get delisted from Magic Eden. That makes sense. But Magic Eden knew this, right? I think they knew it was rugging. And at the time, it was so competitive for launch pads. And Magic Eden was getting absolutely fucking wrecked. And they were like, yeah, we got Hydra right where they fucking, like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, Magic Eden's like, yeah, go fuck yourself, Hydra. We're not delisting shit. We're going to let it rug. And everyone's going to hate your fucking launch pad. And we're not going to let you save your project. And then, that's which is me speculating. I don't know if that's true or false, right? But business is dirty, so I believe it probably, I don't know. He's like, okay, it's fine, Alex. Like, I'm just going to rug it. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm just going to hand the keys over to Hydra, and I'm going to leave peacefully. I'm going to give him the Twitter. I'm going to give him the Discord, and I'm just going to step down. But I am going to take the mint funds with me. And I said, okay. I mean, dude, at the time though, the mint fund, it was like 75%. It was like 300 some thousand. They had a big ass treasury still, even from their other projects. So they still got like 100,000 of the 300,000. And then I think they had a good bit of the road. They had pretty close to like what it initially collected, but they're still losing like the founder and like $300,000 isn't good.
Yo, that is a wild story. I have not heard you tell that. Is this the first time you fully told the story, Alex?
That happens, right? But it gets better. So he's like, I'm going to leave peacefully. So he hands over the Twitter. And then 2 hours later, he's like, hey, everyone, it's the rugger. I am rugging this project now from the official Twitter account. And like, I fucking hate, and he goes and like starts like sexually harassing people on the account. Like he doxes pictures of like Magic Eden saying how he would like all this nasty shit. It was disgusting, dude. Like trying to be as polarizing as humanly possible. It was just like he went on a tirade of just like crazy ass fuck shit. If you didn't see it from that reptile account, it was kind of gross. And he did it with the Balloonsville shit too. Like when the Balloonsville rugged, his Twitter account was like, he was just like using it to like say gross shit about like the whole like Web3 and like, hey, you guys are all fucking idiots for like buying NFTs and I'm gonna rug you again.
Just pathologic shit. So basically, you were advising to a project founded by someone who was a con artist and a sicko.
Dude, that made me have major trust issues because like I worked with him for 2 months and like we were friends. Like I believe we were friends. And like I worked on the art really hard. I worked on like the Discord really hard, like community building really hard. Like I worked and we were like we developed a friendship, and to realize it was all based upon like a house of lies, stack of lies is just like kind of sad, man. And I'm like, dude, I'm like at the end of it all, I'm like, yeah, man. I mean, you played me well, like talking to like the founder. I'm like, but I know for a fact like you'll never find happiness. You'll search for it all of your life and you'll never fucking find it. You'll do this and you'll never like it'll never exist in your life. Like that is what's going to happen for you, and it's unfortunate because you could be pretty good. Like you could be pretty good, but a lot of that success for the reptiles was for the Alex account. Like a lot of it but he'll like claim he did it, and like, dude, my account was going fucking parabolic. Like right as I signed up as an advisorship, and yeah, it helped, right? But it did way more damage than help ever. Like, dude, if I had a clean and pristine record, I mean, I would probably be like Gordon Gone would be looking like up at me like, God damn, this Alex guy's good. But because I have that nasty battle scar on me, and that's what it is like a battle scar of this fucking game that we're playing, NFTs and shit. And like that's why I like using that. So getting back to answering your question, like why do I use that NFT as my PFP? Because it's like it's like a battle scar that I wear, knowing that Alex like never get close to anyone because like friends in Web3 do not exist.
And there is the famous saying, "There's no friends in Web3." So it's all explained here. He wears the reptile as a battle scar, but the trust issues remain. Good. What do you think about that story?
I think the story is wild, man. I mean, I think it makes sense. It makes sense with what you're doing. I think your platform is kind of your platform's a mixture of truth telling and vengeance and redemption, all in one. You're a goddamn fairy tale.
He's a goddamn fairy tale. So I think that story does explain a lot about how kind of like the foundations of shill and villain. And on the back of that, you continue to get to say like, I'm just a $30 PFP. When I hear that, again, this is during the meta of like people are rocking apes that went up to, over almost $500,000 floor price. Our boy Goodmonth here has a trippy ape, and there's a certain like kind of idea that starts to form in Web3 that if you have like a valuable PFP, that there's clout that comes with that there's like, it kind of helps you to become an authority in the space. But here you are kind of reminding everybody that you don't need that. So like, can you speak to this message of it's just a $30 PFP? Essentially, at one point, you're like, I'm the number one influencer across all blockchains. And you did so with a $30 PFP. Like, is that the messaging? Like, what are you trying to tell people when you're saying that?
Okay, so this is like playing into the human psyche at this point. And so like I noticed this in NFTs early on. Like I said, I had like a lot of blue chips. And I knew like my opinions were getting fucked with. Like I was creating oval ass opinions when they should be circular, like slowly etching out those, but they were becoming more and more oval. Like, and why were they becoming oval was because like communities were being built and like immediate sign-offs were being had. Like I had a shitty ass, I knew it when I did like the shittiest of opinions. And I was like, man, why are people resonating with me? Well, this like very cultish community, it's just gonna agree with whatever the fuck I have to say. And I was like, I got to push back on this. Like, if I want to become a better human, I've got to form an opinion not based upon like my fucking PFP, right? So it's like this goes into like deep human psyche at this point. Like social acceptance plays a role, and no one is ever going to socially accept a $30 PFP. Like they're going to be able to hold an objective opinion over anything I say with no regards to thinking like, I need to agree with this person says because, you know, a Bored Ape Yacht Club's cool and I want to be accepted by these other humans. But who wants to be accepted by a third? No one. So I immediately started forming like the best opinions I've ever had based off this, because everyone had these fucked up opinions, and myself included. Like when I saw an expensive PFP, I immediately like formed an opinion, like gave them the benefit of the doubt every time. So I wanted to make sure no one gave me the benefit of any fucking doubt when I started coming out with my thoughts and ideas. And so that allowed me to allowed others to like really attack my ideas. Felt very comfortable. There's something to be said about being welcoming. Like I don't know if you ever go to a club, but if you go to a club and are very welcoming, a lot of people will engage with you. And that idea goes into like Web3, right? If you go and become a $30 PFP, everyone feels better than me, so they feel very comfortable giving me feedback. But if I'm a Bored Ape Yacht Club, a check mark at the time, had like all these resumes, dude, people were scared to give me their thoughts and ideas, like, and all of a sudden my fucking thoughts became skewed, and I was directing my ship into fucking icebergs. And so like I was like, how do I stop doing that? It's simply by removing any type of entitlement. Like fortune entitlement was what I'd call using like an expensive PFP. I try to always not be like quote unquote fame entitlement, but people give me that, and I try to always like, I'm just an equal like you. And then there's also like a seniority entitlement that can fuck with opinions and ideas. Well, you know, I've been doing these spaces longer than you, so I'm entitled. So removing entitlements allowed me to become a better version of myself. And one of the entitlements that I think a lot of people have are this like rich entitlement, like an expensive PFP saying my PFP is more expensive than you, so my opinion is therefore more important than yours. So using a $30 PFP and pushing that narrative as well allowed others to not only think that they need an expensive PFP, like it was freeing for them as well, but it was never for them. It was always about me.
What's the difference from having a expensive PFP that you may have bought at a cheap price, diamond handed to the top, and then just flooded at the top? What would be the difference?
Are you saying like if I held the board, so if I minted a Bored Ape and just held it all the way to the top?
Yeah, and then just flooded it. Like, do you think you would circle your ovals in the same way?
I mean, I imagine it would work that way. It's just easier for me to just never come off that idea. Like that's the other thing. Like when I used that non-existing NFT, I noticed that as well, that I didn't get off immediate sign-offs. Right, people were pushing back way harder, and I liked that. I would like, because it allowed me. It just allowed me to get better feedback. People felt more like easier to engage with me, because like I see it all the time. Like these fucking assholes. Like they think that their opinion's right, and people were like almost quote unquote intimidated. It's slowly dying down. But at one point in time, like you had a Bored Ape Yacht Club, you had a blue check mark, like I call them blue check mark bandits at the time. Now everyone's got a blue fucking check mark. Thanks, Elon. At least we removed that entitlement. But people were paying like tens of thousands of dollars for blue check marks and CryptoPunk. Dude, there was like a time there was a cabal of fucking blue check mark bandits. It was like you had a check mark, you had a CryptoPunk, you were probably somewhere in Cali, like in the southern. Like they were working as a cabal, dude. We could get into that if you'd like, but I'm skipping that part. That's in the opinion. That's the shit that gets me in trouble when I start bringing out my opinion. That's everything I say is not true. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I never tried it that route, so I imagine it worked probably some way similar to going like if you bought in cheap and then flooded at the top.
Yeah, good. I've heard you say things like sometimes you feel like the PFP is unapproachable. Like
yeah,
you've
sure.
had that sentiment. So when you hear Alex say that, by having a PFP that is a quote $30 PFP and this kind of thing, that he gets more like authentic feedback, and people actually have to like listen to what he's saying, not give him entitlements. Like, does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think it's very similar. I think it's like. I think it's the same as like having an ape and saying that when you zoom out, it all goes to zero. Like you zoom out far enough, it all goes to zero. So I feel like it's like a similar approach, but you don't get that off the bat. Like you have to actually talk to someone to hear them FUD their blue chip that they hold, to get on a level with them, versus just come at them like, who the fuck are you? and you kind of hear them on the ground floor quicker, easier. So I buy the take. I buy the circle making.
The circle making. So here's the thing though, Alex, like, you've made a decision at some point to put time and energy into Twitter Spaces. Somewhere along the way, you've identified this like platform, this social media platform, as something being valuable enough to put in time. But I think what separated you, one of the things that separated you from a lot of other people who have also like put in time into Twitter Spaces is that the amount of time, like the amount of spaces, for a long time, I don't know if you're still doing it, it was like 4 spaces a day, every day. And I'm sitting there wondering, like, is this guy going to like take the day off? When is this? The only time I've ever seen you take time off is like when you're flying to another country and then you're like, you're at like in the middle of a conference or something, and it wouldn't make sense for you if you're trying to learn stuff. So what's up with this mindset of like, pushing down on the gas harder than everybody else when it comes to something like this?
So very interesting that people think that like Twitter Spaces is what I got good at. I was so much better in text like before Spaces, like, and it's funny because it's so transferable, like understanding like, dude, Twitter is insane for human feedback. You cannot get that much human feedback IRL ever. You're getting thousands of people that you're engaging with daily, and I was like in the replies, instead of like voicing every single reply, I was reading, understanding, comprehending, and I knew exactly how to say, what to say, when to say to every single reply, like to ensure like they would feel a certain way. Like I could invoke any type of emotion through text at one point in time, and then that happened once again through voice. And like I feel like there's going to be a paradigm shift where I go to video and I'll be able to do the exact same thing. But like as it sits right now, like text and voice, I can evoke any emotion because of the amount of human feedback that I've received through Twitter engagement. And that only happens because of how many fucking people, like right now I'm at 80,000 tweets. So I imagine like that's 80,000 like interactions that I've had in the course of like 2 years maybe. And like that's just me replying, and I know I've read more than I've replied. Like understanding the human psyche through Twitter has been like something that if I would highly recommend everyone do, like just go down a journey through Twitter for just like a little bit and just understand the human mind at like a level you'll never be able to understand until you like fully engage with every single fucking person on this application that you can. And so like I was really, really good at text. I still really, really am good at text, although I just don't do it that much. Like don't really engage with many people now. It's just too time consuming. So normally I just put out like a fucking general ass tweet and just fuck off. I mean, like maybe like 1 or 2 replies, and you're lucky if I reply at this point in time because I just don't have time. Not that I choose to not reply, it's just the time is too time constraining. And it's like, you ever play a game at easy mode? It's like, it's so fucking easy that it's like not even fun to play anymore. Like text tweets are just so unfun for me. It's more of like a discipline at this point, and like no enjoyment comes from it because like learning is like it's like percentages of learning when you try something new is extremely high. Like when you play ping pong for the first time, you learn 70% of the game within like the first week. By the second week, you have learned 15%, and then like your skill, right? Your understanding.
Learning curves. So where's your
Yes.
learning curve now? So Space is 900 episodes. Your learning curve's got to be smashed.
Yeah, like so like learning, like finding those last percentiles. I don't even know if they exist at this point in time. And it's like I'm on such an easy mode. It's very, very difficult for me to give a fuck. Like I am at a discipline level now. Like there's nothing to be gained as far as like learning what I can learn as far as just like talking and listening, understanding and replying. The percentages I'm working with are such a fucking fraction at this point. It's like, how much further can I really fucking go, Alex? Like, is there really an opportunity to learn more here? Like, is there really? I don't know. I'm like you said, but at the time, why was I doing so fucking many? Because my learning curve from text to voice, there was a learning curve, and it was a very, very enjoyable to do like 4 spaces and like understanding how to say it, when to say it, and that is all transferable skills. Like, it doesn't stop at Twitter. Like, reading, responding doesn't stop on Twitter. Like, this can be used anywhere in life. This can be used in a podcast where I can just simply read everything, listen to everything you're saying, and reply perfectly. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just that I have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of audio conversation with, this is like the best part of it all, is that it's with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So I know exactly what people want to hear, what like, and so, like, if I'm wanting to capture an audience, which I no longer give a fuck about that anymore. Like, the fuck's given.
Why do you not care? Why do you not care anymore? That had to be a huge dopamine driver for you to start.
Dude, I was such like, how do I get more fucking listeners? Dude, there's a bunch of learning moments that I had throughout the course of all this. And I was like, the easiest way to do it was bring in these big ass fucking influencers, bring them up on stage and have conversation with them. Even if they fucking sucked, have conversation with them, because I knew they had a big following and I knew there was a chance that their following would come in and tune in. And so that's how and then, like, there was like something to be said about having projects that have minted out. There's been something like, there's definitely like how to build like a community and audience. There's definitely, that plays a role, but it also comes with reliance, and breaking reliances. Like, not even creating reliance is the best thing ever. Like, if I can go out and do something with zero reliance, and the only reliance is on my fucking self, then I will never have the opportunity costs. Like, there'll never be like some type of reliance that can be broke if it's just simply me. But to do it by yourself or by myself is so much more fucking difficult, but it's unbreakable. Like, like, if I do it by myself, like, I have no one to blame but me. So learning how to do something by myself is like a new thing that I've learned that I need to do, like, with zero fucking reliance.
I saw when you were having some pretty big influencers on the spaces, and your spaces started to blow up in volume of number of people participating. And then I watched you pull back from that. And I think I heard you say, like, it sets kind of expectations that you don't want to have to, like, keep up with and things like that. So, you know, like, I remember, for example, like, you had Beanie Maxi on the space, and that was like a pretty big space. And then I think after that, you were kind of like, you know what, like, I'm not going to go and try to get big guests onto the stage. Is that accurate?
No, Beanie. So when I stopped bringing on big guests, it was a long time ago, like way early days. Like, I remember I had every big ass Solana influencer and on a space with an AMA, dude, and I was like 2,000 fucking plus listeners, and I was like, yeah, like, I was like so happy and shit, like, getting big ass fucking spaces. These are like way early days. People probably don't remember these, but these days these happened, and it was because of like all the pieces that I placed together created a big ass audience. Like, and then one day I had a fucking big influencer, and like, I was pretty much at that point, I was just like doing whatever the fuck they said because I had to bring in an audience. Like, I created all these reliance on these fuckers, like, that I didn't even like enjoy really to be around, and it was like I didn't like them. Like, they were doing like all these weird ass soft shields throughout the course of everything, and I was like, fuck. And it was like just a trade-off in my mind. I'm like if I want them on there, they're gonna do these little stupid ass, and I'm like, I can't cut them off because then they're all their entitlements, like all that fame entitlement comes out of them, and then they're like, well, you can't cut me off because I'm a fucking influencer. And so one day I was actually at a conference, but I still hosted a space, but I hosted a space and I let someone else co-host, and I was like, hey, I actually can't be on the space. I'm going to remain muted. I need you to carry this space for like 1 hour. And like, got it. Too easy. Because people, yeah, anyways. But they're bringing up people, and I'm just simply removing people, like, just for funsies. Because I'm sitting there at like the dinner table, and like they're talking at dinner. I'm not listening to them. Like, whatever, dude. Like, enjoy your drinks. Like, so I'm just here. But I'm more important, like, just paying attention to my phone, having fun. I'm not listening to the space at all. I don't know who's talking, and I have this whack ass like Android, and it doesn't even show really who comes off mute, but I'm just like one by one removing, adding, and like just fucking with people because whatever. But I removed this big influencer, and apparently they were like mid conversation, and they lose their fucking mind. They lose their fucking mind. They leave the space and they're like, I can't believe Alex would remove me from this fucking space. And then a hate space then boils up, and there's like 100 people in the fucking hate space. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And I'm like, all because you got removed from speaker, you're going to create like this hate space and like drum up this weird ass narrative that I fucking hate you, which is just not true, but it is what it is. If that's the narrative you want to go with, that's fine. Like trying to grandstand that I removed them from speaker, like, okay, bro. Like,
are you referring to the space entitled "The Truth About Chill and Dylan"?
No. That's a whole story in itself, dude. This is not like as big as influencers, Frank. This is like a midfluencer, but regardless, a midfluencer nonetheless. And like I would always bring them up because I was like, you know, like they're gonna bring in their following. Like these are early days. These are really early days. But still, like spaces were popping and like bringing up big influencers. And then that moment on, I was like, I'm just gonna fucking send them all to zero. No influencer is coming up on spaces. And I was like, only people with 1,000 followers will be speaking on spaces from this moment on. Like I'm not gonna create a reliance on any type of influencer like ever again. And then all of a sudden, all this influencer pushback came on me. Like, holy fuck, Alex isn't bringing me up for speaker. People were freaking the fuck out. And they were like, why is this fucking person that has no following? And it was because, like, I just didn't want to create alliances on influencers. And then, dude, like, there's all these transitions, dude. Like, there was, like, things that I kept on trying and doing different things. And, like, I pretty much became a master at all of them. And, like, one-on-one conversation, 10-person conversation, AMAs, I mastered it all. And now I'm like, what is there left to master? So now I'm, like, very information driven. Like if I can find someone that's filled with information, that's like my favorite thing to do. Like if they have like a ton of crypto information, I like really look forward to it. But dude, even the people that are like subject matter experts on like cryptos and shit, dude, they can't hold a flame. Like I'm like, damn, like I'm working with like who know, like if we had like an informational conversation, like percentages of people on this fucking app, like that can hold like deep dove as far as I am into crypto at the moment, is like we're working with like micro percentages. It's like, fuck, dude.
And that like correlates to people's attention span. Is that kind of what you're getting at? Is just like people bite on ARG1 and they don't go ARG2, ARG3, or do anything of substance behind it? Is that kind of what you're hitting on?
I actually don't give a fuck about people's attention span at this point. I don't give a fuck about anyone at this point. Like it's like,
so this is like a personal observation that I've had in terms of Twitter. You know, I think a lot of people have Twitter followings, but something about, you know, the way that you talk or the way that, you know, you come off, that I specifically think that you have fans. Like you have fans on Twitter. A lot of people have following on Twitter. And I think about that. I'm like, what's going on here? Like I used to listen to Howard Stern, and I used to drive. I had this job. I had to get up super early in the morning, and I'd drive, and I hated it. But I'd put on Howard Stern, and I would listen to that, and it would kind of like help while I was driving. And the thing with Howard Stern is like the expectation wasn't that like he was gonna like provide like all this like crazy actionable information, or it was just entertainment. People loved the way that Howard talked, and they loved the way that he would just like clown on subjects and make things fun and make people laugh. And I think that that's kind of like what's going on with your spaces, dude. People like to tune in, and they just, honestly, when I tune in and I come up on your spaces on the stages, sometimes I prefer not to. Sometimes I like to just sit there and fucking laugh to myself because you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's funny. Now, where this has got to is you have these like loyal listeners, you know, and very recently, you and a couple of other folks involved, Books, Sweeper, and Bark Meta, you guys have been marketing for the network coin. Now, you've used the term network for months now in regards to the community that you've been curating, in regards to the people who've been tuning into the spaces. And as we record this, there's been over $1.3 million of Ethereum transferred to a multi-sig wallet, and nobody really knows what's to come next other than just that there's going to be some type of, quote, meme coin. And we heard today, I popped into a Discord, and this is like a pretty interesting phenomenon because Discord is known for text chatting. Some people, occasionally will hold like voice spaces, but I jumped into this stage, it's what it's called in Discord, and there was over 600 people tuned in on Discord to listen to what you guys had to say about Network Coin. So when you're talking about learning and the next big learning curve, it sounds to me like that's what's in front of you right now with the launching or the participation in launching this token. So when I tweeted a couple times about Network Coin, I got in the replies, "Oh, these guys are scammers and this and that." And I was like, wait a second. I'm not aware of anything that they've scammed. So I think that that's just like a mindset that people have on Twitter, is that they attack things that they don't like or they don't understand. So my first question is, Alex, what do you have to say to anybody that looks at the $1.3 million worth of Ethereum that was raised to this multi-sig wallet and says, this is a scam?
The fact that people put in what is it? It's at 1,357,000, over 4,000 participants. The fact that 4,000 people trust a $30 PFP, I have questions for the people that trust these people. Like, what the fuck are you guys thinking right now? And the thing that makes it the most upsetting of all is that no one actually gives a fuck. No one's like, hey, where's my network token? Nobody's doing that. I have to go out and go out to the fucking time like, yo, like, where's my network token? Like, I have to try to push this fucking narrative like, hey, we haven't got our network token, guys. Are you guys not concerned? No one fucking gives a fuck. Like, no, I think that 1.3 million could vanish and what are we doing tomorrow? Like, it's insane. It's actually insane. Doing cool shit's kind of like my goal in life now. What is cool shit? Well, putting out a multi-sig and raising 1.3 million is pretty fucking cool, man. I don't know too many people that could do it. I mean, yeah, there's people that are dropping wallets and doing something similar, but I think it's a lot of fraudulent activity. Dude, what we did was completely fucking organic. And a lot of people like believe in the $30 PFP or like the fake Rolex salesman or the glorified cameraman. It's Books, Bark, and Alex, and then there's 2 Undoxed people. And they're just going to do a shitcoin, dude. Like, there's no like smoke and mirrors saying that like, hey, this is like generational wealth. We got like utility that's going to blow your fucking mind.
So you're not like really anonymous. Like, you're doxed to people who have met you at these events, but you remain doxed, like you remain undoxed online. Like, how do you like walk the line of that? How are you approaching that?
So I'm like never scared to dox, right? Like, it's just not it. But at the same time, I never wanted to use, this goes back to like forming circular opinions versus oval opinions. Like, one of the other things I saw was people were immediately saying like, I have my master's degrees, or I have this, I have that, and like trying to use those fucking thingies, like those like trying to use those to validate their opinion. So like, I thought it was very important that no one knew anything about so they had nothing to judge me on other than my fucking opinion, and that was it. Like, I never wanted anyone to know my background or like who I was, or just for the simple fact of personal growth. And like, dude, what ended up happening, like, I now have the most like best opinion I could have on like literally everything because of this. Like, the amount of feedback people have given me allows me to form a very, very unbiased opinion on literally everything. And it's really like, now it's like, I don't like giving my opinion on things. Like, I don't. I like to just try to do information driven, but it's sometimes people ask me for my opinions and I always try to like push back on it. Like, I don't want to give my opinion. Like, I can control it.
So getting back to the network token, right? It's people are not, it sounds like from your perspective, like, people are just down to fuck around and find out and FAFO. And the interesting thing is, like, they're there are people who've been following and listening in and spending time already, a lot of them like in your spaces. And so I do wonder a little bit if they think to themselves, well, look, this guy's provided so much entertainment value to me over the last 6 months. So what? You know, I throw like, you know, 0.2 ETH into this thing and see what happens. If it doesn't work out, oh well, like I'm already getting all this free entertainment and this kind of thing. But like on your side, you know, there is this risk that, you know, if things don't go well, could it fracture the community? Could it disappoint the community? Could it be counterproductive to what you've built so far?
So, dude, my PFP is a hard rug. Like, a hard as fuck rug. Like, the founder gets up and leaves. Like, I have zero issue with, like, any type of, like, downfall in price. Like, so the way I look at Pepe, for instance, a green candle builds the community. A red candle destroys the community. Right now, it is printing, destroying community candles. But before that, that community was built off green and red candles. It was built and destroyed. This community, the network community, was not built that way. It was built through all sorts of fucked up shit, dude. That's a whole like story in itself, how this community was built. And so like it's at the point the network token could go to fucking zero, and the network community is still there. That's no amount of red candles will ever be able to break that community. I'm so fucking sure of it. Like the token's at zero, that network community doesn't give a fuck, dude. The amount of fuckery that community has been through, it made me like, it was like yeah, dude, like this is the right thing to do. Like tokenize the community, and like it's going to elevate the community. Like they're going to feel like they now have a skin in the crypto game, and at the same time maybe support my thoughts. Like for some, like I don't think that regardless, it's like tokenizing a community, and maybe like I can like help a little bit from that community, because they've eaten shit for free for the last 9 months, and it was built off a bunch of selflessness, a bunch of like the best communities on that fucking app is in the network, dude. Like the best. And
why do you say that they've eaten shit for free?
Dude, like the whole, like you can go look at the biggest influencers, like they make fun of people that have like a question mark in their name. I'm like, dude, like they're like very humble people, like the most selfless people I've met on this app. And dude, when I first started the network, it was never meant to do anything other than like me grab extra engagement from people. Like, hey, I'm doing a fucking free launch, who wants in? I'm doing a fucking, and I kept on like rotating what it was, and it was never supposed to be real. And then it became very real when I saw like people like really, really got upset with like certain things, and like I had people like crying to me like because they're like, I'm sorry, Alex, I had to remove like this question mark from my name, like in tears, like private calls, like private messages. I'm like, God damn, like I'm sorry that happened. Like I would definitely just, it's just like it's not real. Like you can remove the question mark, like it's okay. But so like, yeah, like 9 months of that shit. And dude, okay, so what I wanted to do, so eventually it was a meme, and then it became not a meme, right? It became like, it was like, there was a point in time that, dude, my own job when I was working, like they were freaking out. Like, this guy's moonlighting us. I'm like, yo, guys, like chill. Like, it's just simply me like trying to get my social engagement higher. Like, it's going to benefit you guys, because if my social engagement is higher, then your guys' social engagement. So like, let me continue building this out and just continue to build up my social engagement through this. But then there was a point in time where it got to be more than just a meme. Like, and I was like, okay, what I see in all these fucking NFT communities, they're not built with very much perseverance. And the fucking first green or the red candle, they're scattering. Like the community's gone. Like, how can we remove that? Well, through perseverance. Like, how do we build a persevered community before we fucking launch? And so, insert the network list. I was adding and removing people from the network list, like trying to get like that perseverance built up like as high as humanly fucking possible. Like you're added, you're removed, you're added, removed, like fucking with people's emotions, to where like if a red candle came, they didn't give a fuck. If a green candle came, they didn't give a fuck. Like, not giving a fuck what it did. They wanted to just be a part of it. So was building that out, and then it got dude, it went parabolic as fuck. It went like insane. Like every fucking human on crypto Twitter was putting it in their, like any fucking human that came in contact with me was putting that question mark in their name. And then that's when I think like people that had like no reason to think it was in competition felt like it was competing with them and it was stealing their attention. And then like that's when like the whole truth of the show and villain, like when it went extreme parabolic, dude, like to levels that were just, you couldn't be ignored. That's when you had like the biggest fucking founder platform, every fucking scammer that hated me, like actual fucking scammer, like doing undisclosed payments, like telling people they're bullish but they're selling, like all that fuckery that I had once encountered before. They finally had their chance to like take the cheapest shot they could at me. And at the time, dude, I was working for a company that was paying me like $70,000 a year, and just, dude, minding my own business, picking up dog shit and just speculating on NFTs and crypto. And to watch it all like happen, dude, I end up like a lot of shit ended that day. Like my employer was like doxxed, and like they got like blown up saying like Alex is a piece of shit from like all these accounts. I had to like talk to them and like explain to them the situation. And then it came to like, I was like, guys, like I'm gonna step away, like it's not worth it, like I'm perfectly fine, like no, like we can work it out. Like I'm like, no, trust me, like it's like it's cool. Like I was already getting way bigger offers than 70K, but it's because I liked the founder. Like that's the person that brought me into Solana, was that founder. So he was like, showed me Solana. I'm like, all right, dope. Like you're the reason why I even got to where I'm at. So I feel like I was like owed it to you, right? And like it's like nothing not from off my back. Like I was just social media marketing for these people. But I was like, dude, it's like 70K. Like now, dude, I blindly make over six figures. Like you wouldn't even know what I do, but I do it anyways. Like I'm like working, like I make it all transparent that I'm like either affiliated or sponsored or any type of, like I'm not trying to do any undisclosed shit. That's for sure. Don't need to. Like I only work with legitimate products in Web3. Like you will, that is the only people, and that's just the way it is. Like I don't need to do those stupid ass undisclosed shit that my favorite influencer loves to do. Like, and they hate that I don't have to, like, because they settle for less. Like they settle for way less. They don't even understand. If they would not settle just like at step one, like step 2 and 3 are worth settling, like not settling for step 1, but they can't help themselves. They the first thing they get thrown their way, they're taking. And I'm like, dude, if you say no like one time, real opportunity comes after that. Like just turn the fucking first thing that I've ever thrown your way, say no to it. They can't figure it out. Whatever. I don't feel the need, but yeah, so like my employer, like, yo, Alex, like, and I'm gonna tell him like, no, it's fine, dude. I don't need to be here. You guys don't need to take any damage. So like, they're like, just okay. They're like, just play it cool, calm, and collective. Like, try it. Like, don't say anything. I'm like, all right, cool. But everyone at the time was like, Alex, say something. Like, please do something. And I'm like, I can't. I'm not gonna say shit. I'm gonna try to just pretend like that night never happened. And then like, day or two goes by, like people are now outraged at my fucking company, like because like they came out with this like tweet and they were saying something like Shill and Villain just works for us, he's not like wreck. And then like the whole fucking people that fucked with me were like, fuck you, Symbol. Yeah. And then it got to like a point where like they contact me again, like, all right, hey Alex, you need to apologize to Frank. I was like, that's not fucking happening. Like, that's not fucking happening. And he's like, okay, then we're gonna have to let you go. I'm like, dude, what? I asked to leave like 3 days ago. Like, what are we fucking doing here? Like, okay, whatever.
Why was Frank so upset?
He thought we were in competition, dude. There was like subliminal competitions that happened once before this, and he like tried to bury me once before. Like, he thinks like if it's not him getting the attention, like it's like competition. He's like so competitive, and I'm like, dude, I'm not in competition with you. Like, it's not a competition.
He used to come on your spaces, and I remember that, I think it was just like that one time, like, I don't know, you didn't let him up. It was something small.
That's what led to it. So I got really upset with him, right? After the whole Utes thing, that I allowed him to speak on spaces on the Utes. Like, did a ton of AMAs with him on Utes. Like, they were the most happening spaces. Like, it was a benefit for both, right? One was just a benefit for me, but it was also benefiting him. But dude, you weren't gonna get on a bigger space than one with Alex. Like, just not happening. Even to this day, dude, like, I could create virality spaces like So simple. But what's the point? Create a viral space to do what? What am I going to shill an undisclosed payment all over everyone? No, dude. Fuck that. Like, fuck that. People probably would. If they could, they would, for sure. I'm already seeing with some viral spaces soft shilling, like all this undisclosed bullshit. I'm like, oh, keep me away from this shit. Man, I went on a couple spaces with the network shit to talk about it, which goes against everything that I always do. Like, I don't like going to other spaces. Dude, it's literally more of the same. I was going to go on like a little world tour about the network. Fuck that, man. I've given up on people. Like, I go on the FaXx space, dude, immediately. Like, talk about, yeah, Alex, like, what you doing here? Like, what's going on with the network? Like, it's just like a fucking shitcoin, bro. Like, what's good? Oh, guys, by the way, I pinned this up. Here's this. If you go to this link, you're gonna check. I'm like, dude, are you seriously doing this right now? Like, you're actually gonna soft shill in the middle of all this? I'm like, your space was at 200 when we joined. It went to 800. Like, can you not do that? Like, you're gonna make me hate everyone else because of you.
So I thought that FaXx was doing a stand-up thing by, inviting you to hear you out on his space, but you're saying, a bunch of people joined.
Oh my God,
they blew up
FaXx.
the space. Hold on, and so I didn't put this together, and that you felt like he used that opportunity to soft shill, and you didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, dude. Like, I can go to any space. Like, people don't know this, right? People, I guess they don't know this, but like, dude, of course they want Alex on their space, dude. Like, of course. Like, it adds in like 400 people for them to liquidate on. Like 400 to 500 are coming to their space and they're soft shilling all over them, and then that's all they want is like, they don't give, like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, if I wanted, right, I could go and make men's with Frank today. I could be like, yo, Frank, let's just hash it out, bro. Like, let's just go. I could, but I'm not going to. Like, and sometimes I have to show people, like, okay, like, I'll go to a FaXx space. I'll go, and then, like, okay, look what just happened. Like, he just soft shilled. Like, I'm not going to do it anymore. Like, just don't need to, don't want to, don't have to. Like, we can do another multi-sig and do 1.3 more million, I bet. And another multi-sig, and then another multi-sig, because people trust me. Like, but that comes at a cost. It comes at me not going to other spaces. Like, it comes like, just, dude, you don't, like.
So you feel like by staying in your own lane and not participating in other people's spaces and things like that, that then you don't have to incur the liabilities of what they choose to do with that attention, basically. Is that what you think? By staying in your own lane, then you stay in control, less people to trust, less reliance.
Right. First of all, like, if I go to a space, dude, I'm stealing your fucking community. Like, bro, it's not even a question, man. Like, you got your little fucking fire going. Oh, dude, I'm coming in like a fucking bonfire. Like, what the fuck? Like, every time I come into a space, like, what the fuck was that? I was Shylin Violin, dude. Like, it's just like parabolic. Like, fucking, you can't look away. And then your whole community is my community. Like, they're gonna stop coming to you. And they're gonna start coming to me. And like, just for your own sake, actually, for your own protection, so you keep your own community that you can liquidate all over. I just won't go to your space because I already know, like, people want to hear what I have to say more than you. And it's whatever, dude. Like, not like people may think that's cocky. It's whatever. Like, it's just whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like cocky for sure, but there's a point to it that, yeah, like the FaXx spaces in the morning, usually getting like a couple hundred people in there. You joined, there was 800 people in there. It's FaXx. So why did you agree to jump on the podcast with me?
Well, I wouldn't have agreed if you would have said there was like some shitty promo ran at the beginning of it. Because you guys are so down bad, I'm like, well, they got nothing to gain from me, right? They can't shill anything. Like, I was like, fuck it, dude. Like, let's go join on the podcast. And you always joined on the spaces, and I always thought your takes were really poor. Yeah. I always thought you were like some Cabal ass motherfucker. Like, I
don't believe you when you say that.
Really?
When you speak, I notice when you're on spaces, like sometimes you're saying like genuine, authentic stuff. And I think sometimes you're just saying things to say them because you know that they're going to get a reaction. And I'm going to chalk up that last take as one of those times.
No. You shill things. It's like conveniently timely. Like, you came on and shilled those checks at the Pico top. And then you went MIA thereafter. And dude, not only did you shill them at the Pico Top, the way you shilled them, like, guys, we're gonna look back at these checks as a missed opportunity and the biggest missed opportunity of the year, because what Butcher's doing is things that no one else is doing in the space. And at these prices, yeah, we're just going to look back at the end of the year and be like, I can't believe we didn't buy more. And then it fucking proceeded to tank. And dude, I bought like, I don't know how many I bought. I bought enough to get pissed off. I'm like, where the fuck is FaXx at? Like, where the fuck is this guy at?
The reason that, so first of all, like, I think the takes, irrespective of the price, I think the takes were correct. And I think we're seeing that play out with checks and O'Peppin. Like, Jack Butcher is a distinct founder, creator into space. And I think a lot of people are catching on to that. The reason that I kind of like dipped from your spaces is because the takes that I was getting were focused on the fact that the price was going down, and it was fucking up my, like, mentality when I didn't see anything changing other than the price. And so I wanted to remain focused on the conviction and not hear a bunch of people telling me I'm an idiot. And so that was kind of the thing, right? When you have conviction and you have like takes like that, like you gotta like keep those takes pure. Like, otherwise they get contaminated with down bad mentality, which is what was happening. That being said, I think it's still early enough in the year to see. And this space, this podcast isn't about Jack Butcher NFTs. It's about you. And I do really appreciate the time that you took to hop on here. I know you're busy. You're in the middle of this network token launch, which, bottom line, it's exciting, man. It's interesting to me. This is a new phenomenon. When you look at what Ben ETH did, and this guy raised way more money than you, and he didn't spend at all the amount of time that you did to like build community. And I think that we saw the consequence of that was like he made a bunch of missteps and made some mistakes here that I think a lot of people have lost confidence in what he's doing. So have you looked at that Ben.eth kind of phenomenon, what he's done with Ben token, PSYOP token, Loyal token, whatever's going on? Do you have some takeaways from that?
Dude, the first space he did was with me. Like, people don't know this, but he joined a space with me. His, like, the Ben token went 7x overnight, like 687% or something like that. I told everyone in the space to buy. The holder count went from 4,000 to 10,000 overnight. And then he proceeded to become a psychopath. He was, like, in contact with me. Like, we were calling privately. He was DMing me, texting me, like he wanted to get me on board. Like, it's like and just like realizing I played myself, and just watch him just like this tyrannical fucking disaster I let loose on the fucking, and I watched all these shitty ass influencers try to just keep on platforming him for the sense of engagement. And it's just like, I never wanted to talk to him ever then after that day. Like, and same with BitBoy. And yeah, like, whatever, short term, congratulations. You're draining liquidity pools, inserting them into the next token, and like trying to do like drain liquidity pool from A, insert it into LPB, and then drain liquidity pool AB, and then insert it into liquidity pool C, and like fucking over A and B to benefit C, and then continuing down this path of drain liquidity pool, drain liquidity pool, drain liquidity pool, and to how far it goes, I'm not sure. I mean, I could easily do that. Like, I could easily do that, but I don't want to do that. Like, I don't, like, he's not going to get anything from that. Like, that's not the answer, dude. Like what really comes from that? Like, you're going to make millions of dollars? Like, okay, we could do the same thing. Like, we could literally.
I think Ben, like, there wasn't like a lot of expectations because we didn't really know what this cat was capable of. But BitBoy, I think there was a lot of expectations because we know he's very experienced. And I know that you even, like, supported the idea that he was going to get involved with Ben Coin. And Man, did this like all go sideways, dude? Like to the point where now recently BitBoy is like publicly breaking up with Ben.eth, and I don't know anymore. It got real messy real quick. Are you surprised about the way that things went even after BitBoy was involved?
Dude, dude. The only reason why I platformed, dude, anyone can say what they would like, dude. Ben.eth before we platformed him, like before we all bought in, it was getting like less than 50 fucking likes, dude. And then overnight, like after that space, dude, like I was like, I had everyone buy in, dude. Like everyone that I fucked with bought in, liked, retweeted, um, and to watch him just like is just gross. And the only reason, right? The only reason, dude, what's been it's been like 2,000 people and like the space was already like blowing up for other reasons, but like towards the end, like I heard BitBoy, he hopped on the space and like Ben hopped on the space and we were like talking about this token, and I was like giving extreme sign offs on it. Like normally I don't sign off on shit, and the only reason why I signed off on it was because BitBoy signed off on it, and I'm like, yo, BitBoy's been on YouTube for the last like 10 fucking years, and he was shilling shitcoin early days, got so much shit for it. He's not going to do it again. Like this has staying power. You know, Ben.eth is the founder, and then BitBoy's just kind of like on the side helping market it, and that's how it's going to be. And to watch it all unfold, I'm disgusted with BitBoy. I, I I really was indifferent on Ben. Like I didn't know if he was like a decent or like. I obviously found out he's a piece of shit. But like BitBoy, I was really rooting for BitBoy, and like to watch him just do this fuckery is like. For what, dude? Like really, BitBoy, you already like have sponsorships with Stake. You know, you already have like an extremely successful YouTube, and for you to get doing this fuck shit, man, like you need replaced and erased immediately.
Yeah, it was disappointing to see, but I think that there's some things to learn from that, and hopefully you can take those things away with what you're building with network. So Alex, I really appreciate your time here. We got deep into the truth about Shill and Villain. Do you have any departing words to leave with our listeners today?
Sure. The network, yeah, I'll take a shameless shill for the network. I think it's probably going to be like the biggest shitcoin of all time. Like, not out the gate. Like, but like the foundation that it's built upon is indestructible. And like elevating that foundation, I think will be very, very easy. Like short-term price action is like not predictable. You can't predict it no matter what. No matter how good I am at price prediction, it's unpredictable. But we've already like Books, Bark, and Alex of that 1.3 million. None of us are touching. Like that's always going to remain with the project, like in some shape or form, right? We've already said 10% of that will be used for development. So you can take away 130K from the 1.3 million and assume it's going to be used for just the development. 5% is going to be used for the current shitcoin. The other 5% is if for some reason we're like, okay, we want to be more than a shitcoin. That doesn't mean we're not going to be more than a shitcoin, because especially right now with SEC like literally cracking down on everything, the best thing you can be is a shitcoin. Like these other projects that are out right now, like Ape, Dust, all these big blue chips are possibly going to get fucked up. And if we can just not get fucked up, man, that's a benefit in itself. So building out utility is like very scary in these conditions. Getting that security tag, you literally erase Americans from your project. And I feel like just staying a shitcoin may be the best thing we do going forward. So like 5% is being used to set up a contract, like the contract for the token, the website, the claim, and then everything else, dude, like none of the team is getting paid any of that Ethereum. None of the team is getting, no one, like, I'm making sure no one gets a free fucking network token. Not a single one of the original supply will be given to a single fucking person for free. That's my commitment, is like, of the original supply. Now, like, there will be like liquidity pool fees that are collected like 0.3% on Uniswap. I don't know what those tokens are going to do. That's really hard to say, but it's like anyone can set up an LP. It's not like project specific can collect these fees. Anyone can collect fucking fees. Anyone can. But like comparing it to Pepe, right? 6.9% of the team went to the team, and that is at the top. That's over like $117 million went to the team. And I'm thinking to myself, we can be better, guys. Like, we can be fucking better. Like, Pepe, right, reached a $1.7 billion market cap. Like, all we have to do is be less greedy than them fuckers. We already have a better community. Their community was simply built off green bars and red bars. Dude, ours was built through, like, perseverance, time, something that just cannot be recreated overnight, which Pepe was. And I'm like, yo, they reached a 1.7 billion. We can, like, I don't know where this fucking network community can go, but I'm like super excited to like get into it. I would highly suggest, if you're not at least exposed to the network, like get a little bit of exposure. That would be like kind of like, that's not financial advice. Just getting like, dude, you don't have to go like crazy ape shit. Like, I'm not projecting like we're going to 10x overnight, but I know we got at least, who's going to be here. Like, the 3 people I'm with, like Books, Bark, and Alex, dude, we're here every fucking day. And, like, now we have a product at least to show up. Dude, we were eating shit for fucking free forever. Like, that fucking network shit was a free fucking thing for fun. And we were eating massive amounts of shit for it. Every influencer was, like, talking mad shit, including FaXx. He once had a question mark. Let it be known. He capitulated. I guess he ate too much free shit. He's like, man, fuck this shit. I ain't supporting this. But
yeah, too much free shit. I mean, I think this concept of like a perseverant community being built ahead of time, it is different. And I think it's intriguing. And you guys are on spaces all the time. You are very present. And so these 2 big pieces of the puzzle that a lot of other projects lack. One is a persevering community that's built before, in the absence of a product. Nobody joined those spaces and joined the network because they thought that they were going to financially benefit by being given something. So you have this like this native community that was built through perseverance. And then you have another big piece of the puzzle that a lot of projects miss, which is social media marketing competency. Right? So you have that before you actually have a product. You're kind of like flipping this whole script on its head here. So that's why I'm intrigued about it. I am participating, and look, I wish the best for you guys and for the community, and hats off to the community for, being such a force. And to you, Alex, for frankly, like showing that by fucking putting your head down and working hard and being present and not succumbing to all of the, greedy types of things that happen in the DMs. I think that's been your hallmark. So it's like the influencer, launching like the anti-shitcoin. It's kind of an interesting paradox. I love to see it. With that, man, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the show. I think that people generally know where to find you, but if not, at Shillin' Villain on Twitter. We'll be looking out for your spaces. We'll be looking out for this network coin launch. So appreciate your time, man, and thanks for joining us.
thanks for having me on.
Good. That was a lot. That was a lot. Dude, let me get your first reaction here.
Autobiography signed by him. I mean, it's good. It's interesting to hear his story. I think he gave a lot of information on his background. He makes a lot of sense to me now. I think this will really be helpful to some people to understand what gets him up in the morning. Like, he likes going at people's necks when he feels they deserve it. He's a regulator, right? He's like a social regulator. I also think there's some incomplete thoughts there. Like, There's a lot of things I want to kind of double click on that I didn't necessarily get answers on, but there's always time. There's always time to go back and get those.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that there was some stories in there that probably nobody's ever heard before. I mean, granted, you got to keep in mind that Alex has been on Twitter Spaces for hours and hours and hours. And so if he sat down with us and gave us some takes, some input that he has not shared before, I think that that's phenomenal. You know, I appreciate it. And I do think he's got like a tall task here, having collected this money or being part of a team or doing marketing for a team that has collected this money, because, you know, it's true that like maybe the followers of the network, you know, would be fine with whatever the outcome is of this coin or what have you. But like the reality is, if people lose money, you know, they're not going to enjoy that, and they may blame him for that or other people involved for that. Like, what's your take on that?
I think he is gonna FAFO, you know. I think he's gonna figure it out. He said that his community, he's built perseverance in his community. He made comments that like red candles are not going to define his community and that they'll be fine with red candles. I would challenge him, you know, to possibly hold the money back, use it as an actual operating treasury, and open the LP at very low cost and let his community bid that thing up. If he feels that this community has that much perseverance built into it, I think that would be an interesting experiment. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't think you can fade this guy. Like, he has a following that he's built. Anybody who puts an emoji next to their name because they want to identify with a platform that somebody has started and continually shown up for, you can't fade that person. Like, we had this conversation about Kevin Rose on the last episode at the beginning, and you said NGMI or GMI, and I said at this point, you know, kind of, I think it stopped sliding and you have to GMI because the cult of Kevin Rose. And Kevin Rose has a history prior to NFTs. Shill and Villain showed up, I mean, to my knowledge, first time I heard about him was October of 2022. And he's built a platform that people show up for, they're dedicated to. And I don't think you can, I don't think you can fade that. Also, I'd love to get to the root of him and Frank. Like, I'd actually like to pull out the shovel and dig up those roots, because I think that both of those people get unfair takes against them without people sitting down and really trying to understand what they're all about. Like, there's so many people who just fade D-gods because they just don't want to let them into their mental space without understanding what Frank and D-gods are about. I think the same thing happens with Shill and Villain.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, I think you can say, like, nobody is to go at Shill and Villain from his perspective. Like, if you go at him, you're in his space, and he's going to clap back at you.
Yeah, and also this kind of like idea that, this emoji was the identifier for community at a time when, a lot of people, including myself, are saying, oh, we're using this NFT as an identifier for community. Oh, and the NFT costs $30,000, right? Or whatever. Like, and so that kind of like flipped that whole thing on its head, right? It's like, it's a free emoji. So I think like there's this like meme about that idea of like that there's a free emoji. You don't really need an NFT to create community and network online, which I think is known, but like I think it's just the fact that this is not an emoji in some other space. This is an emoji in Web3. I think that was a pretty interesting thing phenomenon here. And then, here's my thing. Going back to this take about that ultimately the space is not very big. There's truly not that many people trading NFTs on a regular basis yet. And so my thing is like, with one of the reasons that I thought it was such a bullish idea to get, behind Jack Butcher is not only because of the art that he makes, but also the fact that I think like he's a great representative of Web3, and that like Web3 can use like a poster boy type of person as we grow and expand that's really good with interfacing with whatever, growth opportunities that there are. And the point I'm making is like fractured communities are not communities that grow fast. I mean, parts of them can grow, but if they're growing in different directions, it's harder. And I think that this like red question mark, the emoji that is so polarizing, is actually like an opportunity for us as a space in Web3 to like acknowledge, like, dude, if you judge somebody because of an emoji in their name, like that's more of a reflection on you than it is of them. And like, we need to like rise above that stuff. And that's like those preconceived notions that people carry around with them is actually one of the diseases of society that people have in terms of like making preconceived judgments about others.
Yeah. Well, I think, when you have a principled system, like people should have principles. People should have guiding principles and values for what they believe in. They can be whatever you want them to be, but you should have some guiding principles and values, and they can change upon new information. But when you have guiding principles and values and you superimpose the speed and frequency of information that get thrown at you, there's numerous ways where you can find yourself down rabbit holes, or you can find yourself taking in information that is against your principles or always for your principles. And either way, people tend to try to like combat those. So like, say you have guiding principles in the space and like you don't like engagement farming, and then Shill Villain hits you with engagement farming. What you need to kind of do is you need to step back and say, hey, engagement farming's not for me. I'm going to back off this topic and not take bait with or have issue with it. But what too many people do is they just say, they go at the person, and they get bit by the thing that they don't like. If engagement farming bothers you, then just back out. If long form podcasts bother you, back out. If Jack Butcher is too simplified and too minimalist or too heady for you, back out. Don't go at Jack. Don't go at Shill and Villain. Don't go at Frank. Don't come at FaXxers. Fuck, don't come at me. Like it's like it's just, I just don't understand like why people can't detect the things they don't like and back out fast enough. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I love the take, and I think that we're going to have to leave this episode off on that note. Thanks for joining us here at Never Fade, the NFT podcast. Appreciate you. Follow our Twitter at Never Fade NFT. Subscribe to our YouTube, comment. All of that helps us grow our reach, and we will continue to bring you insights from inside of Web3. Have a great rest of your week.
Verifying everything.
That's a bad bet if the bags check less. About to burn back to back, flipping not cheap when that Jenny duh hits. That's the race to 250 in the world and you chose to sleep. That's a bad bet if you wake up check